All right, Thomas Harding, MLB.com. We will start with you.
First of all, good afternoon. Nice seeing you, man.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, good. All right. Hey, you were doing some good things in original spring training and, of course, a couple nice balls off the bat here. Why are you where you are as far as the quality of your offensive game? And I'd like to ask a couple more after this, if no one minds.
So I didn't. Let me say that again.
I said, where are you in terms of the quality of your offensive game at this point? And I said, I'd like to follow up if you don't mind.
Yeah, I feel like I'm close to being ready, for the season. And I've put some good at bats together, and I'm still working on a little bit of the timing element. I think our guys do a really great job of throwing hitters' timings off. So for me, it's about finding that rhythm and that consistent timing that I'm looking for.
You were able to go back to Florida, I understand, during the quarantine. Were you able to talk much to pitchers there or work out with fellow Rockies that are there? How were you able to do the quarantine thing?
Yeah, I went back to Florida, Orlando, to be specific. We had a lot of Zoom calls, through, different, different meetings with different pitchers. We had starting pitcher meetings, we had reliever pitcher meetings, and we had hitters meetings and catchers meetings too. So we stayed well connected that way. I worked out with Brendan Rodgers. We go to the same trainer back at home, and he was able to kind of shut the place down and kind of let us kind of do our own thing. And we hit a few times together on the field and in the cages too. So it was nice to be able to kind of hang out with at least one guy on the team.
Hey, if you could kind of break down what Brendan did. I mean, to me, he looks a little bit more physical than he was last year. Obviously, he's healthy. And also understand Zach Veen was part of that facility. Was he able to work with you?
Yeah. We, I think Zach kind of tailed off a little bit as the draft got closer, but especially during the offseason, he was in there every single day in the morning, getting after it, which I didn't understand. I thought he had to go to school, but apparently, this new thing where he could, get to work out and do, 2 or 3 classes from home, which was pretty awesome. I wish they had that when I went to school. But yeah, Brendan did a heck of a job, kind of not, putting some muscle on, leaning up a little bit as well too. I've been with our trainer for 12 years, so I'm kind of biased, but he's amazing at what he does. He's very specific to each individual, and still a lot of credit goes to Brendan for putting the work in and getting after it in the gym.
Who's the trainer?
His name's Jeff Higuera.
Okay, great. All right. And just what are your goals for this season? I know as a guy who's been kind of a backup catcher, bounced between the majors and the minors, but you always want to be at that top level. You always want to be kind of the guy if you go to the playoffs or whatever. Tell me about your goals for this year.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's always going to be individual success goals. You want to do well personally, but my main goal is to win. This is going to be an interesting season. It's very short this year, and we got to win right out the gate. It's almost like playoff baseball right away. So I want another World Series. I want a parade. I want a celebration, and that's to me is the ultimate goal. And I know it sounds cliche, but I think once you've been there and experienced it, that's really all you want again. So that's my main goal is to win.
For the guys who've never been to one, what is the World Series parade like?
There's nothing like it. I don't think you can compare anything like it. It's the culmination of hard work, sweat, tears, happiness, all put into one. And it's knowing that you went through this experience together, and the fact that you get to come together at the very end and spray champagne on each other, get into a parade, share it with the fans as well. So there's really nothing that you can compare it to, I don't think.
Thanks, Drew.
Kevin Henry from Roxbine.
Hey, Drew. Thanks for the time, man. I appreciate it. Could you talk a little bit? I know, like John Lester is one pitcher that likes to work with a certain catcher, period, on game days. Is that something that you see as a benefit from a catching standpoint, or are you a guy that likes to work with all the pitchers and be able to focus on individual goals?
Well, I always think that it's always nice to have someone that wants to throw to you. That means you work well together and he has a confidence in you. But I also, you don't want to limit yourself to one. If something were to happen to another guy and you'd have to, jump into fire and catch everybody, you want to be able to, work, well with all of them. So I feel like I pride myself with that. But at the same time, like I said before, it's always really nice to have that confidence and that belief in that pitcher that knows that he wants to throw to you only.
And what have you seen from some of the pitchers early in the spring training 2.0 summer camp? Who's kind of been impressive to you with the way that they've been able to pick back up after things went on hiatus?
Yeah, honestly, I think all of our guys have done a great job staying in shape physically, and also, their throwing programs. I don't think many have missed a beat, and it's definitely shown in BP and live BPs and stuff. I've been really impressed with a few guys. I know Kyle Freeland really worked on his off-speed command, and especially that curveball. He struck me out with it last night, and I thought it was a ball right out of his hand and just snapped down really hard. So I was impressed by that. Hoffman has done a great job with the split. And I was really impressed with Joe Harvey. He did a really good job getting his body in shape, command of his fastball, and he really, you could tell he put in the work and the effort into shaping his slider. So, like I said, all of our guys have done a great job staying in shape and staying ready to go.
Thanks, Drew. Appreciate it.
No problem.
We'll go to Kyle Fredrickson from the Denver Post.
Hey, Drew, I was hoping you could speak to your teammates a little bit here. It seems like this catcher's unit has some depth going into the year that a lot of teams would love to have. Just when you look at Walters, Diaz, and Nunez, what makes these?
Yeah, it cut off at the end. Say that again.
Oh, sorry. Looks like I got muted. Just hoping you could speak to just your teammates, Walters, Diaz, and Nunez, in terms of what these guys bring and what makes them unique at the catcher position.
Yeah, we have great depth in that position, and I think each guy is very unique in their own skill set. I think we all bring a great deal of energy. We definitely share the same goal in the fact that we care for the pitchers, that we want the best out of them and want to get them through the game to get a win for our team and for them as well. I really enjoyed my time working with all of them. I consider them brothers because we're so close and we share a lot of the same unique characteristics. So, to specifically, point out one individual thing would be tough because, like I said, I think we all share the same thing that, we want for the pitcher and for the team.
In this new baseball world that we live in, you mentioned it on Twitter, I think, recently after you went yard yesterday in the scrimmage with foot shakes, just how you guys kind of now celebrate things. How do you think you did with those foot shakes? And can you guys get you've maybe a little more creative as the year goes along in ways to celebrate?
Yeah, there's room for improvement. I think we're still filling out the best ways to celebrate. I know we did, I think the first inter-squad game, we did some type of like conga line without, touching each other. But I think as the season goes on, there's going to be some really funny, creative ways that teams are going to celebrate. And I'm looking forward to watching those.
Gotcha. Thanks.
Just a reminder, if you have a question, please raise your hand. We'll go to Tracy Ringlesby.
Hey, Drew, I know late last season, Darren Holmes was given the go-ahead to start making some major adjustments with Sensatella to try to help him get better command of the secondary pitches. Mm-hmm. What have you seen from Sensatella this spring that's an upgrade from what he had last year?
Well, I think, I don't think there are major changes, but what stands out to me the most is his delivery is very clean. He repeats his delivery very well now. And the biggest thing that I notice is that each pitch comes out of almost the same exact arm slot. I think in years past, especially on his curveball, his arm would raise up and his body would kind of slow down. Sometimes he would kind of baby his changeup. And those are kind of cues that hitters pick up on. And I think he's done a really great job during this offseason and kind of quarantine of smoothing those things out and making it very difficult for hitters to pick up any type of different slight movements in his body when he delivers a baseball. So big credit to him for cleaning that up and making those changes.
I think along the lines of what you said, one of the big things was to simplify the windup, to keep the hands from going so far back over his head because it would throw him off balance. Does that sound right?
Yeah. Especially on his off speed, his hand would go really high, and it was a different release point than his fastballs. And I think they used also TrackMan and the hit tracks and all that other stuff, the high resolution cameras, to kind of show that your hand's in a different spot and your arm's going a different way. So definitely cleaning that up helped. It's almost like a tennis server. If you look at like Roger Federer, what makes him such a great server is not because he serves so fast. It's just that every single one, whether it's a kick serve or out wide or down the baseline, everything comes out of the same exact spot, and it's hard to read.
Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Drew, thanks a lot for doing this. We appreciate it. Have a good day.
Thank you.